Alright guys, here's the A-4 video. Hopefully it's not going to take as long for the video as it did in class. It took about 30 minutes to explain. Hopefully it's not that long. Let me minimize this. A-4, the biggest thing is our A value in A-3 was always 1. In A-4, it's going to be a different number. So I'm going to do one example of A-3, or you can just go back and watch the A-3 video. Now I'm going to do some A-4 examples. Okay, so we still want to start. Here's our A-3. We still want to start by putting our -40 there on top and our -3 on bottom. Now, we could go all day trying to figure out which ones are which, but I'm going to hook you up here. I need a positive and negative because this negative on top. And 5 and 8 multiplied to 40 and would subtract to 3. Okay. And then from there, all we had to do was x plus 5, x plus 8. Okay, now this equals 0. It tells me I'm not done. With 8-3, all I do is take the opposite numbers of what I had here. So positive 5 becomes negative, negative becomes positive, and I have my answers. Please don't put them in parentheses or brackets. I want these braces, or just do squiggly lines. Close enough. Okay, but remember, in this one, our A value is always 1. In A-4, it's going to change a little bit. It's going to look something like this. Okay, 2x squared plus 15x plus 18. Now, we still need this x. We're still going to use this principle the same, but slightly different, if that kind of makes sense. Okay, trying to find out what number goes up here. It's not just 18 anymore. Okay, if you remember, our B value went down here, and our top was A times C. Don't know where it went. A times C gives me 36, and then our 15 goes here at the bottom. Okay, so now we're looking for two numbers to multiply to 36 and add to 15. 36 and 1 doesn't work. 12 and 18, or sorry, 2 and 18 doesn't work. 3 and 12, that's what gets our multiply 36 add to 15. Okay, in 8-3 we were able to go x plus 3, x plus 12, and we'd be done. 8-4, we still needed these two numbers. We're going to use them a little different. Okay, I'm going to take my 3 and I'm going to take my 12, kind of separate them like this. Okay, then this 2x, not necessarily the 2x squared, but the 2x, I'm going to put on top of both of these and kind of turn them into a fraction. 2x over 3 and 2x over 12. Okay, now I want to look and see if my fractions reduce. Well, 2/3 does not, so I'm going to leave that just like that is. 2 over 12 reduces to 1 over 6. So let's write it x over 6. Now, from here, all you have to do is read your reduced fractions in a little bit different way. Okay, try not to ask why, because the answer is a lot better than doing group factoring. But we're going to take 2x over 3 and turn it into 2x plus 3, which means we're going to take x over 6 and turn it into x plus 6. Now I have my two factors. If I were to FOIL this out, 2x times x, 2x squared, 2x times 6, 12, and 3x, that's 15, 3 and 6, 18. Okay, so A times C on top, 2 times -2, -4, and my -3 on bottom, my B value. Okay, I need a positive and negative, and it will be 1 and -4. Okay, again, I'm going to take my 1, I'm going to take my -4, and what am I going to put on top? Well, the answer is this lovely little 2x right there. So 2x, 2x. Now, 2x over 1 technically reduces to just 2x, but that 1 is really, really important, okay? Because without it, I would just have 2x, and that wouldn't FOIL correctly. So I need 2x plus 1. I need this plus 1 here. 2 over 4 reduces to 1/2, so x over -2, which means x minus 2, and I got my two factors. So we're still trying to find two numbers that multiply to the top and add to the bottom, but we're going to take them, we're going to use them a little bit different. Instead of x plus 1 and x minus 4, we're going to throw the 2x on top, reduce fractions, and then just read these a little bit different. Okay. So this one here, negative 36 on top, 5 on bottom. Okay. 36 and 1 doesn't work. 2 and 18 doesn't work. 3 and 12 doesn't work. We keep going. 4 and 9 would work. So 9 minus 4 gives me 5, and then multiply to that. I'm going to take my 9 and my minus 4. Question is, what goes on top? Well, don't say 2x, because this time it's 6x. So the 6x goes on top, and now we're reducing. 6 over 9 becomes 2/3, so 2x over 3, as in 2x plus 3. 6 over 4 reduces to 3 over negative 2, so 3x minus 2. Okay, so we're still finding two numbers that multiply to our a times c, and add to the b. Okay, reduce a fraction and just read it a little bit different. Okay, this one here. 8x squared minus 44x plus 48. 8 times 48, 384. And then my negative 44 goes on bottom. Good luck trying to factor this one out. Not that it's too terribly bad, but it's going to be a while. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go back to this original, and we're going to see, does it have any kind of number in common? Well, if they're all even, you can pull out a 2. In this case, after we pull out a 2, we'd be left with even numbers again. So we're going to pull out a 4. 4 goes into 8, 4 goes into 44, 4 goes into 48. Okay, so I'm going to pull out a 4, and in parentheses, 2x squared minus 11x plus 12, because 4 times all of these would get me back here. So I'm going to leave this 4 alone for a second. Now I'm going to be working with this, 2x squared minus 11x plus 12. Now I'm going to use 24 from 2 times 12 and negative 11. These are much easier numbers to work with. Okay, positive on top means same sign. These are both going to be negatives. Going back to the original one, if you're curious, it was negative 12 and negative 32, I think. Double check me on that. Make sure they multiply to 384. But instead of using those giant numbers, we're going to use negative 3 and negative 8. Make it so much easier. Okay. So negative 3, negative 8, what goes on top? Well, we're using these numbers here, so I'm going to use this 2x on top. Okay. 2x over negative 3 doesn't reduce. 2x over 8 reduces to x over negative 4. So 2x minus 3 and x minus 4. 2x minus 3, x minus 4. Okay. From here, 2x times x gets me 2x squared, and I'm trying to find the factors to get back to my 8x squared. Well, this little 4 that we pulled out, we are not going to be using these big numbers. We're going to be using this, bring it back down here, and put it in front. Okay? So 4 times 2x minus 3 times x minus 4. That is the complete factorization. Now, if you were to FOIL this back out, only use the 4 with one of them. So either the 2x minus 3 or the x minus 4, not both. Okay? So only distribute it to one of them if you want to double check your answer. Uh-oh. All right, let's keep going. On this one here, if you don't pull out the greatest common factor, so we can see that a 3 will have to be pulled out. If you don't pull it out and you're just going, well, I can work with these numbers, negative 54 on top, the negative 3 on bottom, I don't know where it went, 6 and negative 9, where's my negative 3? 6 and negative 9, multiply that and add that. So we're good. So we're going to pull both of those. The 3x goes on top. 3 over 6 reduces to x over 2. And 3 over 9 reduces to 1/3. So I got x plus 2 times x minus 3. Now, if I were to FOIL this out, I would not get 3x squared. X times x is just x squared. So if you're looking at it and go, there's no way to get back there, you're going back and saying, do I have a greatest common factor? Well, in this case, yeah, there's a 3. Working it out this way will pull the greatest common factor for you. You just have to remember to go back and put that 3 back in front. Okay. On this one here, 2x squared minus 14x plus 18. Well, they're all even, so let's pull out a 2. So x squared minus 7x plus 9. So now, 9 and negative 7. Two numbers that multiply 9 and add to negative 7. I had a lot of fun 7th hour today. They tried every which way combination, and I was just laughing. And I didn't hear anyone say, there is nothing that works, because they just kept trying numbers. Truth is, this right here is a prime trinomial. Okay, nothing multiplies to get that. It's just one of those that starts like that. Okay, so in this particular case, we have our answer here, 2 times x squared minus 7x plus 9. This isn't going to happen too often, but it is possible. Okay, if we were to use the original numbers, 36 and negative 14, we're not going to find anything that multiplies 36 and adds to negative 14. We'll be in the same dilemma. Once you try every single possibility, go back and go, well, there's a 2 in common. My greatest common factor is 2. Bring that out in front and leave this here. Okay? Not going to happen often, but if you see a trinomial that simply cannot, not just you didn't find the answer, it just cannot be factored, that's how you do it. Okay, last one here. I have an equal sign. Okay, so I am looking for equals 0. I do not have equals 0, and I can get equals 0. I'll tell you this, when you're moving this stuff around on your homework or whatever, please leave your x squared a positive number. Negative numbers we'll work with in Algebra 2 when you get there in a couple years, but try and leave this. So even if this is by itself, don't subtract it over, okay? Always move everything to that side. So we're going to add 4x, and it doesn't cancel this out. It actually doubles it. So 12x squared plus 8x minus 15 equals 0. Okay. No greatest common factor. 2 doesn't work. 3 doesn't work. 4, 5, nothing like that. So 12 times 15, negative 180, and with an 8 on bottom. Now, what I told my class is anytime you have a triple-digit number that ends in 0, there's a high chance that 10 or negative 10 is going to be one of your numbers. So instead of doing 180 and 1, 90 and 2, 60 and 3, 45 and 4, start with 10. And in this case, 18 and negative 10 is what we're going to get. 18 times that, and then subtract. So we're good. So we're going to take our 18 and take our negative 10. What goes on top? Well, it's our 12x right here. 12x, 12x. Our fractions will reduce. 12 over 18 becomes 2/3, so 2x plus 3. 12 over negative 10 becomes 6 over negative 5, so 6x minus 5. Now, we are not done, mostly because of that little feller right there. Okay, from here, we need to set both of these equal to 0. Okay, 2x plus 3 equals 0, 6x minus 5 equals 0. Okay, now from here, it's a two-step equation. Subtract 3, divide by 2, negative 3/2. Add 5, divide by 6, 5 over 6. Now, if you remember in 8-3, we talked about how when we had like x plus 18 and x minus 10, we were able to take negative 18 and positive 10 and be done with it. Well, these shortcuts are also here. They are hidden right there. 2/3 and negative 3/2 are opposite reciprocals. So change 3 to a negative, flip it. Change this negative to a positive, flip it. That's how you get the shortcuts there. So there's still shortcuts there, even though they're not wonderful. Okay, so this was 8-4. Just under 15 minutes. Not too terribly bad. A little bit of everything. 8-5 and 8-6 will go together really well. Won't be anything super new. It'll just be presented in a different way, but we'll get there. Enjoy.